It was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be
forward.
like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have
Corrupt
sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Okay, my name is Vince. I'm staying in Obs. I've stayed in my whole life. I'm 30 years old and I work for Metro Rail. I fix trains in the engineering department.
Hi, I'm Tanya. I've been dragged back into Observatory again because you can't get out of this place. Come visit us.
My name is Hilton. I'm an IT guy. Work with computers. That's it.
That's it. I'm Colette. I'm a nurse. I work for Discovery. I live in Ops. Last 5 or 6 years. Love it. Enjoy it. And yeah, I'm here to stay.
I'm Lynn Cruiser. I run a voice network. I work for the government. I live in Observatory and it's cosmopolitan, Bohemian, and I'm also here to stay.
At the moment, South Africa is in an unknown position.
We're in a very, like I said,
Unknown in terms of where we stand in terms of South Africa. Where your place is in South Africa. Do you see yourself as a future? Do you see yourself raising your kids in this society?
it's a very turbulent society right now, I must say. I must admit that. And your different age groups have different opinions, and your different race groups have different opinions.
I gave myself the World Cup. I said to myself, listen,
I think that bonded us all in a way.
It was
It did,
fantastic.
it did.
It was
It did.
absolutely
We had a jaw.
fantastic.
As Africans in a whole, we had a jaw.
yeah, but
we have to also look.
it wasn't all about
It's not all
having
the
a
World
jaw
Cup, yeah.
and all the rest of it. It's about me looking at my
That's
future
deeper
and saying
and
to
the future, yes.
saying to
How are you going to raise your kids in a society
at
as it is
30
now?
years of age, if I'm in the IT industry, I can find a job overseas. Do I want to raise?
Fair enough.
Do I want
I
to
agree with
raise a family overseas? Do I want to raise a family in South Africa?
Over and above the World Cup, I think there's enough talent in this country. There's enough diversity. And I think that what people need...
Each one of our responsibility to add to that. You're
What
right.
we need to do is to park the World Cup. Because the World Cup has come and gone. We as individuals have incredible talent. We have diversity. We have different cultures. And I think it's fantastic to carry on the thread without a soccer game. I still think there is a fantastic vibe, especially in Cape Town, for us to carry on.
Let's be realistic. We all have that thing about, we're all good people and everybody does something good for somebody else, but it's just not happening as much as we wanted to.
So the honeymoon of the World Cup is over.
But I think that the honeymoon of people can still come together, because I think Observatory is a magnificent place with talented, beautiful people.
Observatory and by extension South Africa.
Yes, South Africa. And I think if we as a group got together and we pulled it together, with or without the World Cup, we can still unite and we can still bond and we can still network. And that's my feeling.
One group. You
we do
need
it
that
for our
one
future?
group.
And I think if
You got a point,
just
you got a
us
good
sitting
point.
here tonight, I think if us 5 can make a difference, we can pull the whole observatory together and then spread it further. That's my passion.
Then you need a sort of organization for that. Okay, it's nice for us to sit here.
What I believe is we all have the potential to make things better, but none of us have the motivation. Not all of us.
There we go.
None of us, sorry. Not all of us
Have the
have
same motivation.
The same motivation.
But if we put
Because-
our motivation together, I bring my guitar, she's a nurse, he's an IT, she's a specialist, you at Metro Rail. With all our combined talents, don't you think that we can unite, we can ignite, and we can spread? And I think we can really, over and above the World Cup, we put billions into the World Cup, but locally here in Observatory,
I agree with that.
we can pull it together.
Here's where I question the media. I see an article in the Weekend August, and they say that Observatory is the biggest crime zone, biggest drug zone.
Yeah, drugs.
Yes.
I've seen someone offer drugs to me. I know the person or know people, but I cannot point to a drug den in Observatory. the article alludes to or says, listen, this is
Well, that's a big
OBS
problem.
is.
That's a big problem in society.
I went to England. The minute I stepped out of the tube, someone said skunk
Look,
to me,
I mean, you get there wherever
which
you go.
offered drugs
You
to
can
me.
walk down Long
And
Street in Cape
What's a
Town.
skunk?
skunk is drugs.
Skunk
It's
is
high
high grade weed.
grade weed or
Oh,
whatever.
Vince.
As soon as I stepped,
What happened to German poison?
Yeah, yes.
Quiet man.
Vincent,
Quiet man.
it's not the time to blush.
What I'm saying is, you can walk down Long Street in Cape Town.
Yeah.
In every second corner, you got a,
Beautiful.
hey brother man, how you doing? You want some swaz?
Yeah,
You want
but
some
that is-
skunk?
like you said,
but it's
that is-
normal. That should happen every fucking
That
day.
is in England,
That happens
outside every station tube
Absolutely.
that you get out of.
I was very disturbed by the Saturday Argus with a full page
Painting
of
a picture.
how bad OBS was. I felt a little bit distraught.
Well,
Distraught?
why is this all the
No. Vincent, you're right. I felt distraught. I read the article and I thought it was grossly unfair. Unfair in the sense if I need to sell my property, OBS has got a bad name. We are not the drug lords.
No, we're not.
No, definitely not. I can go to Constantia
There's many,
and let me tell you, it doesn't matter where you stay or who you are. A merchant is a merchant. A pusher is a pusher. A user is a user.
Let me ask you this: in Constantia, you come and you say there are 50 people, and they come every weekend to the same road, same place,
In their cars
right?
or whatever.
Which happens in OBS. More than 50 people, and they come and they spend 10 minutes and off they go.
They fuck off again.
Now the comparison that you said that everywhere in Constantia, whether it's in Constantia, whether it's in OBS, whether it's Clifton, Llandudno, it happens in OBS more often than not, because there is a congregation of people that come in and want some drugs. There is a supply line, and there is a demand for the drugs.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Observatory is the place.
The cops know the merchants exist over there in a certain area, in a certain street. They'll sit aside those purchase and they'll wait for the kids to come buy the drugs. They'll bust the kids for their two-stopper and their baton and their rock and whatever.
But
But
why
they
not the
won't
drug
fucking
dealers?
bust the merchant.
What are the drug dealers?
Vincent, 8 years ago,
That's been happening all years.
8 years ago, you say that you've been in Observatory for all your life. 8 years ago, there was not as many drug people around,
Not in OBS.
not in OBS.
Yeah. Surrounding areas, maybe, yes.
Yeah. So
In OBS, yes, it's grown in OBS.
OBS has become
Look, a lot of people have come into OBS and started selling the worst of drugs as
Yeah.
well.
What we were talking about is crime and observatory.
Yes.
Me as a woman, I've had no problem with that. I live for myself. I live up there in Rochester Road,
You can't
which is
even walk
quite a
home. You
while.
can't even walk home at night by yourself anymore.
I
man.
can. You can.
Well, sometimes you can, but you get the
I
odd
can.
occasion.
I know for a fact I can.
I do all the time.
Yeah.
So you can't have the government dictating to the press as to what they can broadcast and what they can't broadcast, because then they can hide things and they can dictate things, and I don't agree with it. That is my opinion.
Vincent, my attitude is, how can we change it? There's a bill in Parliament that says that they're going to restrict.
Well, press is having difficult task trying to alleviate the situation. And I don't know what the guys are doing.
We can't change it, because as soon as they
people in the
they
street,
put
you
a
can't-
bill in front of Parliament and they say that we are presenting a bill to be passed for cracking down on
That's not depending
how
on the
much
people on the
information we give out
allowed to give out.
Yeah. How do
is-
we change that?
That's nonsense. I mean,
How do we change it? At the moment,
I guess it's up to
I'm
people on the street,
I'm so
people in the
disappointed in this country.
How?
We cannot change it.
petition.
Do you think they listen to our petitions?
Well, I don't know. Do you
Unless
know?
we strike.
What is the objective of government censoring certain press releases and broadcasting?
Well, programs like Third Degree are doing
almost like a
too
party.
good
It's
too
like a
good a
party.
job.
Happening all over again.
But I think the critical point that everybody has missed here is the Constitution. Now, if you go to the Bill of Rights, nobody is above the law. Now, if you're going to muzzle the press, but if you're going to throw the book, the only book you can ever throw is the Constitution. Now, the tribunal bill is about to be implemented. Let's face it, we've all read the newspapers. So, on Saturday I went to draw money at Pick and Pay, and the DA was there with a petition. We all signed it. So many names. But you cannot undermine the Constitution. My view is, Vincent, this thing is definitely going to go to the Constitutional Court. And believe you me, the likes of Helen Zille, who's the Premier of the Western Cape, will certainly push it. I mean, you're muzzling the press. Why? Is it because of transparency?
It's like in the water.
Yes, but is it because of transparency? Is it
No,
because?
it's not about transparency.
But we need transparency.
It's about hiding things.
If you go to 217C of the Constitution, if we're looking just at procurement, it's transparent, it's equity, it's fairness. But this is
Linda, I disagree with you.
no. But this no. But this
Linda, I'll tell you why. Because if Jacob Zuma's son can push through, and that is against the Constitution and everything, push through a deal that is worth billions, and it gets accepted. You can't say the Constitution all the time. Because
I agree with you.
In reality,
I'm saying,
what is happening is that the Constitution's being undermined by corruption.
the ANC brought in the Constitution. It was spearheaded by them. Correct.
Which was accepted by
Which was
everyone.
accepted by everybody.
And lauded by
Now we are
everyone.
undermining the Constitution, which is a very scary fact. But my point is, there's nothing for us challenging that at the Constitutional Court. And I do feel positive, from a human rights perspective, I do feel positive that nothing ventured, nothing gained. If we do not fight this, we're going to be sitting on the fence. And no one wants to be a draad sitter. I don't want to sit on the fence and say, well, I saw it happen. I want to stand there and say, I made a difference.
Here's the opposite part of the coin. And here's where we question maybe the ANC saying sensationalism. So you say you felt bad because Observatory was painted so badly in the press.
Yes.
So the press has got a little bit sometimes the power to say Observatory is bad. Is that necessarily true?
Yes, I agree with that.
Is that so? I can see the point where the ANC is coming in and saying like the crime figures are so high in certain areas, and then you say, but that's not true. I live in this area.
You've got to have those, the
Who sues the
why,
press though?
where, who,
Would the
what,
government
and how.
would the
They've
government
got to prove
would the
that before they
government
can
would the
print
government
anything.
sue the press though? When you say if the press has gone sensationalistic, 10 people get killed in Observatory, bad town, the worst town in South Africa.
But all
Right?
the press
This
has
is the
got
press.
their researchers that have to check every single fact before you
Who
can
is-
print
Who
it.
is the governance of the press? That's what the government is asking.
But that's journalism ethics. You've got to do that. That's
Profound
the right thing to do.
Who governs that? Who governs that?
No, but it's the right thing to do.
I will ask you now, this movie that or whatever we're doing right now, they can edit whatever.
Exactly.
The editor has the power
That's what I said in the
to
beginning.
edit. And if I have a little short burst of 5 words, that editor can change that so much into a different meaning. And therefore I sign
Take it out of context.
a release
Context is the one.
taken in a different context. What does that mean if on a placard Hilton says,
In general picture, yeah.
I'm dead in the water, yet where is my recourse?
My dream is that we can all live in a a society where we can all agree with each other, and our children can grow up safe and peaceful and learn from each other and look forward to something better.
My dream, now that I've been here, now I want to be the next South African, Oprah Winfrey, and I want to sleep with Brad Pitt.
My dream for my future and South Africa's future is that we made a difference. Our generation made a difference for the future generations. And that difference was for the better. And history will only judge us on that.
Yes, you go, man. My dream, I am going to open up an old age home, and I'm going to look after Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease people, and I'm going to give them a lot of TLC.
My dream is being born in a street in Observatory and done the Clifton and come back to Observatory. I would like to see us come together and form a network to make a better place for Obs. Safe, secure, and absolute fun. That's my dream.
Thank you.